Wherefore, Part 39. There is a moment when Clarissa pauses to think about the moon phase. It is not a dark moon night, and so she says nothing, because Bank Gardens should be safe. They are a small crew of happily queer misfits, Clarissa and Amy, Tasha, Nerys, and Ursula. As they enter the gardens, they are not an organised questing party. They are a bunch of people who just caught a singer-songwriter at the folk festival and are now on a mission to source takeaway. Most of them do not know that on some nights, Bank Gardens is not safe for a group of people. None of them would consider walking this way in the dark on their own, but they feel bolder together. They are talking and laughing, and it feels good. It has taken very little time to identify each other as queers. If Clarissa passes as female, then holding Amy's hand clearly isn't straight. To people who see her transness, of course, she seems trans. Either way, she shines as a queer beacon, and they move towards her easily. Nerys and Ursula also hold hands, and there is a feeling of solidarity between them all. They have a feeling of more in common than this, but it will take them a bit longer to come out as shapeshifters. There are no obvious signs to give, and they are all still cautious on that score. Ursula pauses in turn at the foot of the steps and sniffs the air. She feels the same unease that bothered Clarissa and has the same degree of local occult insight, but it isn't moondark. The gardens should be safe enough. She is distracted by a conversation about what sort of takeaway they should get. She is hungry and easily distracted by food at the best of times. Amidst the talking and laughing, the distance from the first set of steps to the second doesn't quite register. It is not a long walk. In the normal scheme of things, it takes little time to follow the path at the side of the grassed area. They're all talking about the Pride event back in June when they were all here, but did not all know each other. Nerys had lasted an hour that day. Lots changed for her since then. It is dark under the avenue of yew trees. Clarissa takes a few steps into the deep gloom, realises and stops. Amy bumps into her. The others come to a halt, and Ursula swears in muted tones. "This is weird," Tasha says. "We have to get out of here right now," Clarissa says. "Best not panic," Ursula replies. "We don't want to run further in by mistake." Amy asks what's going on. "I don't know," Clarissa says. "It isn't moondark. The garden should be safe to cross." "But clearly it isn't," Ursula says. Something howls in the darkness nearby. Ursula takes her rucksack off and gives it to Nerys. "Bear with me," she says, and pulls out a small item and pulls it open, wrapping it around herself and discarding clothes as she goes. There isn't much light, so the others don't get a clear look at the process, but by the end of it, Ursula is a bear. Nerys shoves clothes into the rucksack and is glad of the gloom hiding her blushes. Ursula is hot. Tasha says, "I can shift at will." This is still fairly new for her. "What into?" Ursula asks. "Orog. Massive cow." "Will you get stuck between the trees?" Ursula asks. "Are we expecting narrow paths?" Tasha inquires. "No idea, just we may have to run." "Oh, best I stay as I am then." Sniffing the air, Ursula tries to take them back the way they came. Smells of deodorant help her navigate, but the wood is already twisting things, and the scents diverge. It won't be easy. If they stay close together, hand in hand, fur on fur, jumping at unexpected sounds, but not getting silly. The three of them who do not know the garden's reputation are surprised to now be in deep woodland, and are wholly persuaded by the weirdness to stay cautious. A massive owl stares down at them from a nearby tree. This is not normal, even for Stroud. Ursula knows that something is very wrong. The gardens are a thin place, but they are only supposed to be thin at certain times. Like cemeteries and the barrows, there are rules, and if you follow the rules, all is well. Don't follow the little lights down the old corpse road. Common sense stuff. It alarms her that these rules may no longer hold up. It means something has changed, and the feeling in her bare gut is that this change is not for the better. Ursula prays as she walks. She prays to the land and the trees, to any friendly old gods who might be listening, to her ancestors, to the memory of bears. It is a wide-ranging, panicked plea of a prayer, and no less powerful for that. Ursula is usually prepared to believe in anything that also believes in her, and right now she is conscious of how much help she needs. The path isn't really a path anymore, and there is so little light. She can't tell if they are heading in a good direction or deeper into danger. They have clearly crossed over into some kind of otherworldly forest, and she knows they may never get back out. The fear her companions are feeling comes off them in aromatic waves, and that smell will carry. Anything that finds fear tasty will be salivating right now. There are definitely other beings moving in the darkness. Friend, foe, or indifferent. She cannot tell. Ursula has never been more afraid in all her life. She is glad that her party cannot see her human face, and are unlikely to be able to decipher the way a bear smells when frightened. These are small mercies. She focuses her attention on being large, powerful, and responsible, and tries to stay with this image. She is mighty and a woodland creature, and she will get them all out of here or die trying. The feasibility of that second option bothers her considerably. They keep moving, and they stay calm. Ursula appreciates this. She chalks it up to the innate awesomeness of queer women, and adds this to her list of reasons why horror films are all about the straight folk. You wouldn't find this lot screaming in just their underwear and getting picked off. It feels like they've walked a long way. In the minimal light, one hunched and creepy tree looks very much like another. Normally, Ursula does not find trees at all sinister, but these are other woods, and all bets are off. Anything could prove malevolent. She starts to think it will be night forever, and there is no way out. Being hungry doesn't help. Low blood sugar makes her cranky. She trudges on, sniffing for signs of a more familiar world, and listening carefully to the woods and the women in her wake. "I'm really cold," one of them says quietly. "Amy," she thinks. "Have my jacket," Tasha says, and they pause to redistribute clothes. It is really cold, Ursula realises. Most of them are not dressed for unkind conditions. She calls them close, wraps her arms around them, tries to warm them with her generous bare body and comfort them with her fur. She can at least put her body between them and the night for a little while. There is something large in the trees. They all hear it and grow still and even more quiet. She can hardly hear the other four breathing as they wait, tracking the sound. It is a large noise, and it is moving toward them. Ursula tries to maneuver herself so that it will find her first, whatever it is. She can see the shape of it now, a form that glows faintly as it approaches. It is so very large. There is no point running. They have nowhere safe to go. Ursula braces herself as the enormous figure rears up on its hind legs and emerges from the trees. To say it is a bear would be a terrible understatement. It is vast bear power, and bear-shaped, and beyond reckoning. Ursula trembles in awe, awash with so many emotions that fear does not entirely take charge. The bear reaches out a massive paw and touches her head lightly as though giving a blessing. It moves away, and Ursula follows without hesitation. No one speaks. It seems likely that no one even dares to breathe. The bear ambles at a pace they can match and moves with certainty. They follow, and the wood puts up no resistance. It is a small journey, no more ambitious than crossing Bank Gardens itself. They emerge into the paved area in front of the church, shaking, crying, laughing, holding on to each other. Ursula is the one doing most of the crying because of the other bear, because the enormous power and wonder of the other bear has done something to her, and she has no words. She hides these tears in the process of taking off her own bear skin and putting her human clothes back on. Her entire body shakes. She gets them all away from the church and into the relative safety of the shambles. They are out of the woods now, and that's good. But the woods are lost to her again, and the bear power is gone, and she feels abandoned and bereft. Her heart hurts. Her soul is bruised. She cannot explain. Chips, says Nerys softly, taking her hand. It is the only possible answer right now, even though it is so very far from being enough.